live stream in Ahla. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful, it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. A. Syed Mohammed, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Chemistry, Coordinator, IQSA, Sadaqatullah College, Tirunelveli, and who is the advisor of IQSC of our college also. An educationalist who has to his credit a number of publications, papers published in international and national journals. He has attended a number of national, international, and state seminars, conferences, and workshops. He has been a resource person for guest lectures, seminars, and PhD Viva Voice. He is a research guide also, and his association with NAAC starts as being a convener for the NAAC sponsored programs from the year 2017 and the director of IQSC now. He was also the member of the school managing committee of Pushpalata Vidya Mandir from 2016 to 2019. I once again welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome all the organizing committee members who are the criterion-wise heads of our college, the IQSC coordinator, Dr. Sabrin Munir, and assistant coordinator, Dr. R. Anuradha, for assisting me in conducting this webinar. I would also like to place on record my gratitude to our college management committee members, our president, Engineer SK Syed Ahmed Sahib, secretary, Engineer SK Kudam Ahmed Sahib, and treasurer, Jafar Sadiq Sahib. My congratulations are also due to the staff of the Department of Computer Science, Mrs. Booma and Mrs. Mumtaj Begum, for their technical support extended to us in all these webinars. Thank you, and I welcome one and all who are here in this webinar. Over to Dr. Syed Mohammed.
Thank you, madam. First of all, I thank the authorities of Anne Hajra College for inviting me to discuss about the some of the NAAC criteria. Madam, shall we start? Hello? The topic is the benchmark of quality sustenance, right? Education alone can conduct us to that enjoyment, which is at once the best in quality and infinite in quantity, says Horace Mann, an American educational reformer. Ensuring quality higher education is one of the most important things we can do for the generation, says Ron Lewis, a former American politician. Since higher education is becoming an international service, there is growing concern about quality, standards, and recognition. Next one, what is quality? It may be defined in terms of excellence, perfection, standards, and value for money, competencies for work, consistency, and relevance. Based on this trend, discussion, and how benchmarks have to be evolved for ascertaining and assuring quality at different levels of higher education is significant. The main questions surrounding the practice of benchmarking in higher education are: how do we know if the students are learning the right things at the right time? Is there even such a thing? Is there even such a thing? Should the authorities set the standards for education? Increasing competency, demands for accountability, and higher volumes of available information are changing the methods of how institutions of higher education operate in the 21st century. Traditionally, quality in higher education was seen in terms of exceptional. By its very nature, at least higher education recruited exceptional teachers, researchers, and students, and provided them with exceptional library, laboratories, and opportunities to learn from one another. Excellence was the clarion call of all universities. The relationship between the students' skills, knowledge, and achievement, the recruit merits of the workplace, professional body requirements, promotion of the department, and marketability of students have all been brought into sharper focus because of the institution quality assessment system. Quality is about academic autonomy, about expanding and improving higher education system. At the macro level, quality assessment is about power and control. At the micro level, it is about student experience and achievement. With the growth in the demand for higher education, the micro level processes have become more visible and more important. Internal quality assessment and evaluation activities are resulting in quite major institutional changes and developments in higher education institutions in several countries. It is equally true that major institutional changes and developments frequently drive quality assurance and evaluation. The relationship between institutional change and quality assessment and evaluation is a reciprocal one. Hence, discussion on how benchmarks have to be evolved for asserting and assuring quality at different levels of higher education is significant. So here I'm going to discuss only very important the 5 benchmarks. The number one, developing a quality culture. The second one, learning. The third one, quality research. The fourth one, establishing monitoring system. And the fifth one, outcome-based education. First of all, we are going to discuss about the developing a quality culture. There is a need to develop a habitual quality culture in our institution. This will require mental infrastructure more than physical infrastructure, because quality depends upon our sincerity to purpose, our vision and conviction to do our duties. In this process, the strong areas in the institution such as teaching, learning, research or innovation should be identified to boost further development. It should be a motivation for further improvement. For this, the necessary strategy should be employed to put extra effort and resources into areas needing improvement and those having potential for growth. Number one, we are going to discuss about the teaching faculty. It is said that the destiny of India is dependent on the talents, skills, hard work, commitment, foresight, patriotism, missionary zeal, quest for knowledge of the teacher. And the teachers of the world can shape the destiny of our country and the world. No education institution can maintain and sustain the quality if the teaching faculty does not believe in the importance of quality in higher education. Teachers should be convicted rather than a distinct mission. A great person, William Lyon, every teacher should say that in my mind, teaching is not merely a life work, a profession, an occupation, or a struggle, but a passion. I love to teach as a painter loves to paint, a musician loves to play, as a singer loves to sing, and a strong man rejoices to run a race. Unfolding the same line of the great poet Rabindranath Tagore said, a teacher cannot teach unless he is teaching himself. A lamp cannot burn another lamp unless it continues itself to burn. Regarding the teaching faculty, one of the important criteria that is called accountability. This requires accountability among teachers. So what is accountability in education institution? In very ordinary term, it means being punctual, taking on lectures and tutorial, teaching well, reading the latest book and journals, sharing knowledge freely, kindly, kindling the interest of the students in the subject, completing the portion on time, helping students to learn, evaluating student answers fairly, and returning them on time. Accountability also means being approachable and helpful to one's stakeholders. It does not prevent one from being firm within when required. Accountability also meaning willingness to accept moral obligations and continually strive to improve the quality of the education institution. One cannot expect the government to enforce accountability from the teachers. Rather, it must be based on a system that confronts teachers more directly with their successes and failures. Only teachers with highly intellectual capacities, self-confidence, and good communication skill alone should be taken to ensure the quality. That these teachers should be exposed to emerging frontiers of knowledge so that knowledge shows that they can update the teaching ability and skills. The second important thing among the teaching faculty is that is called training. In the present scenario, it is not possible to achieve the quality higher education without sufficient training process. In no other profession today are professionals accepted to perform without training. In no profession, a professional is demanded without having sufficient professionalism. But in higher education, most teachers simply go through their profession without any training in teaching, learning, evaluation technique. This may not be the case with primary and secondary education in India, but in higher education are called to render high level of quality output in education without proper training. As a result, they are unable to give their best in their classroom. Therefore, according to Vinay Kirpal, a rigorous, highly practical 3 or 4 hours training, 4 weeks training for every teacher would generate tremendous confidence in them, especially the beginner, and make them more effective in contributing in the quality of education. So he also mentioned that a partnership with retired teacher of the education institution of higher learning and with the educationalists and the industrialists, parents of the students. He mentioned that the retired teacher, renowned for their teaching, can be actively involved as volunteers in sharing best teaching practices with their younger colleagues and mentoring them into the excellence. The parents are another very rich volunteer resource to be involved in sharing practical industrial knowledge or knowledge of behavioral skills to students on a regular basis. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan said, help the students to think rightly, make them feel nobly, let them do rightly, above all, let them possess the spirit of compassion, universal love, and brotherhood so that we can live together in a global village as brothers and sisters. So this is the role of the teacher. He act as a team player. He should maintain or she or should maintain the time management, how to discuss the curriculum or syllabus with the problem solving technique. Then self-confidence is very important one, the leadership, and the last one, the communication skill. Next, we are going to discuss about the second one, that is called learning. In the current scenario, one of the aspect that is called blended learning. In general terms, blended learning integrates traditional face-to-face classroom instruction with online digital learning. Programs in this modality are increasingly being adopted in higher education institutions are clear examples of technological, pedagogical, and organizational innovation in universities. We live in a connected world with unparalleled access to a vast array of online information and experience. Our students are growing up in a world where excitement and opportunities are just a screen touch away. Historically, classroom teachers have used a range of learning activity and resources to assist learners to achieve learning objectives. The face-to-face presentation, visual material, paper-based assignment, online research, and group activities have been the mainstay of classroom teaching for many decades. More recently, mobile technologies and collaborative Web2 tools have expanded opportunities for learning Blended learning is no more than a combination of all these approaches. In particular, digital tools or platforms with human to machine interaction capabilities may enhance automated process for blended learning delivery mode. In this context, digital technologies such as video capsules and intelligence tutoring system may improve learning teaching activity. First, by providing access to more students and facilitating self-paced online activities. In most of the institutions, they're doing this alone. The second, by offering an individual path of learning for each student, thus providing out-of-class activity and feedback. The concept of blended learning is rooted in the idea that learning is not a just one-time event. Learning is a continuous process. Blending provides various benefits over using any single learning delivery medium alone. The advantages might include cost benefits, increased access to education opportunities, flexibilities of workplace deployment, and so on. Here we are going to discuss how we enhance learning outcomes through the number one, inclusion of more differentiated personalized instruction. It will increase the access to resources, experts, and learning opportunity. It's more authentic, and student-driven tasks must incorporate it into the curriculum. Higher student engagement, greater opportunities for collaboration, exposure to a wide range of Web2 technologies, and acquisition of contemporary literacy skill. Better access to infrastructure at any time, anywhere learning. It reduces travel. It builds teacher capacity. A new trust being developed between teachers and students. And students are allowed to assume roles of leaders, mentors, and co-creators. So the blended learning is thus the need of the hour. The second one, that is called experiential learning. It is a process of learning through experience and is more specifically defined as learning through reflection on doing. Hands-on learning can be a form of experiential learning, but does not necessarily involve students reflecting on their products. Experiential learning entails a hands-on approach to learning that moves away from just the teacher at the front of the room imparting and transferring the knowledge to the students. It makes learning an experience that moves beyond the classroom and strives to bring a more involved way of learning. Skills, knowledges, experience are acquired outside of the traditional academic classroom setting and may include internships, studies abroad, field research, and service learning project. Experiential learning focuses on the learning process for the individual. If, for example, if you are teaching a zoo in the classroom, right? When you take the students, especially to the zoo, and they ask through observation and interaction with the zoo environment, as opposed to reading about the animals from a book, it makes discoveries and experiments with the knowledge firsthand instead of hearing or reading about others' experience. Likewise, in business school or internship or job shadowing opportunity in a student, which contributes significantly to the students' overall understanding of their real world environment. Experiential learning relates solely to the meaning making process of the individual's direct experience. In order to gain genuine knowledge from an experience, the learner must have four abilities. The learner must be willing to actively involve in the experience. The student must be able to reflect on the experience. The learner must possess and use analytical skill to conceptualize the experience. At last, the learner must possess decision-making and problem-solving skills in order to use the new ideas gained from the experience. One of the famous person, Jacobson Rudy, created a simple practical questioning model for the facilitator to use in promoting critical reflection in experiential learning. There are 5 question model. Did you notice why did that happen? Does that happen in life? Why does that happen? How can you use that? These questions are posed by the facilitator after an experience and gradually lead the group towards a critical reflection on their experience and understanding how they can apply the learning to their own life. These questions allow the facilitator to deepen the learning of the group. So here we are going to discuss the benefits of experiential learning. The number one, the experience the real world. For example, because being the chemistry faculty, the students who major in chemistry may have chances to interact with the chemical environment. We are teaching the reactions or some of the practicals in the lab. Suppose if they allow the students to, especially to the industry, the learners have a desire to become the business people, will have the opportunity to experience the manager position. One of the second benefit is improve on the job performance. The municipal bus drivers trained via high fidelity simulation training instead of just classroom teaching showed significant decreases in accidents and fuel consumption. Even the astronauts, so who are going to the universe, first of all, they get training in the stimulated model. The third one, the opportunities for creativity. There is always more than one solution for a problem in the real world. The students will have a better chance to learn that lesson when they get to interact with real life experience. The third one we are going to discuss that is called participatory learning. It is a way of organizing the classroom that motivates learners participates in the act of teaching, a peer-based learning process. It is a purely basic student-centered. The role of teacher is that of an advisor, supervisor, consultant, information provider, mentor, helper, and assessor. The student is the learner, recipient, and actor. So, what are the advantages of participatory learning? We use only inexpensive resources. It can be used in any physical setting. We are interesting. The learners are very interesting, and from helping to involve people in the subject, they help people to build self-confidence. They also help the people to understand the perspective of the others. They also help to learn about themselves. They, the participant with different degrees of experience and literacy can use them. They prevent individuals from being singled out for which they know or they don't know. They are less intimidating for less confident participants. They can help people to analyze complex situations. The outcomes are often documented. Outcomes are often documented during the process and do not depend on jargon. They are memorable. Lesson learned can be brought back to the local communities and organization. The disadvantages are they are difficult to plan because planning often depends on what the participants want to do. It can take time for people who are used to being students rather than the participant to feel comfortable with these approaches. It involving the stakeholders is a time-consuming process. Facilitated techniques can be difficult to master and use effectively. They can make people uncomfortable. For example, the drawing, they can be difficult to document. They can be difficult to document well using photographs or keeping flip charts. Some people may not consider them to a valid way of working. Participants may be more focused on creative rather than learning aspect of the activity. It can be difficult to establish clear action points or conclusion from the activity. So we are going to discuss the fourth one that is called the e-learning. This is the order of the day. Many benefits are there. We discuss only the 5 benefits. You get exactly what you require. Being a student, there are some extremely difficult subjects which require extra dedication. Otherwise, the chances of flunking become higher. And we speak of traditional classroom setup. Teaching does not give much flexibility. Unfortunately, the teachers are bound by the timings. You have limited time to grasp the subject. But the e-learning, unlike the classroom, regular classroom, the e-learning setup serve you a number of options. You get access to a vast range of e-content and study materials, including e-books, audio files, especially PDF file, and the study material, including e-book and audio file. For this, the college should develop the learning management system. With the help of learning management system only, we can do wonders. You can make a choice of what you want to study, begin learning your curriculum as per you wish. The second benefit is learn the lesson repeatedly. Ever face a situation when you are writing down the notes by copying when the teacher has to explain on the blackboard, and even before finishing the writing, the teacher's rubbed off. So automatically the students will get irritated. But with the help of online management system, the moments of missing out on important learning notes is not concern worthy. As a student, you can record the video lessons of your teacher and play it repeatedly for developing a better understanding of the topic. The third one, that is track your level of understanding. One of the best benefit of e-learning, especially for higher education institution, is that you can learn things based on your level of understanding. You can try out online quizzes or ask your faculties to send you a question bank online. Depending upon your score, you will be track your knowledge. You can categorize into the following three groups. One is called beginner, the second one that is called intermediate, and the last one that is called advanced. If you get a score, low score, that means you need to clear the basics of the subject. In another case, if your performance is average, then you can opt for the intermediate e-career. By the grace of God, if you do exceptionally well, then just relax and go for some advanced skills to gain an edge in your career. And the fourth one is effectiveness of study. As simplistic as it may seem, the teaching and learning process eventually gears up when you are exposed to a multitude of e-modules. With the communication tools for personalized chatting, online discussion forum, or video conferencing, it builds a strong teacher's communication and engagement over a time leading to positive learning outcome. And finally, the fifth benefit is contribute towards the saving the environment. Don't forget nature. We are already suffering so much. It is high time we act eco-friendly with online teaching and learning software. The need of the paperwork is absolutely zero. Since all the teaching sessions are conducted online and the study materials are digitized, you can indirectly contribute towards saving the environment. The third one we are going to discuss, that is called quality research. So these are the some of the benchmarks we are discussing. The first one we discussed about the teaching, and the second one the learning methodology. Third one the quality research. If any institution, higher education institution, they focused on these five important benchmarks, definitely they will get a good score in both the NAAC as well as the NAAC. Here we are going to discuss about the quality research. Research capacity in our country has to be boosted, but reality seems to be different. Some high education institutions have become PhD factories by admitting candidates who do not have the right attitude and skills to undertake the PhD level study without monitoring their progress and awarding them their degree. Some universities have diluted the quality of prestigious degree. It is said that many candidates with the PhD degree do not have the knowledge and skills required for the jobs for which they are academically eligible. It is also widely believing that getting a PhD from certain university is quite easy. Stories about corrupt research supervisor who indulge in and encouraging ghostwriting to emerge. The question of whether someone bought or earned a PhD is quite common these days. The reason why a person wants to do PhD could be any or combination of this. If you ask a person why you are doing a PhD, the first answer coming from the student or faculty to pursue a career in academia, to continue research in the person's field of interest, to specialize in it, contribute to the field, to discover or learn something new, or to develop oneself professionally. To earn a PhD and thus to become an expert in the chosen field, the researchers should work hard. The journey is not always smooth. To make the percentage of people embarking on PhD program with these good reasons higher than those of with the bad reasons, the research capacity in our country will be boosted. The university should admit the fact the PhD research in the country has slipped and take necessary steps to improve its quality. Identifying the right candidate for PhD program is a first step. Based on that, the UGC regulated the norms for especially for getting PhD from the universities. They frame the coursework. Then after the completion of the coursework, they go for a pre-PhD viva. They should publish a paper or research in the research journal, at least a minimum of 2 in a Scopus Index journal or SCA. Only those candidates, only to the candidate who are motivated by the genuine desire to pursue doctoral research, who are open-minded and persistent, who possess core skills such as spirit of scientific inquiry and ability to think logically and critically should be admitted. They should be encouraged and given adequate financial support. The irony is, in most of the university, the research scholars are not providing adequate financial support. Those who are clear CSR net examination or UGC examination conducted by NTA, they won't get the financial support. Unfortunately, most of the research scholars, they are not getting the financial support. Without financial support, how can we get the PhD? So definitely, these days, policymakers, politicians, and academicians talk of the need for competing with top-ranked universities in the world. To compete, education institutes should free themselves from their obsession with quantity and start focusing on quality. One of the researcher, they published more than 350 papers. But the thing is, if you see the quality, they definitely around 200 papers or 250 papers, not the intestine is focused on SCA factor. And the fourth one, we should establishing the monitoring system. Here only the IQC plays a vital role in monitoring system. A system needs to be established to monitor the activities, the functionings, and achievements of the institution in continuous manner. Monitoring should be a regular activity and based on acceptance by all the stakeholders, especially the management, the principal, the teaching faculty, the students, the administrative staff, parents, then alumni, and the community. Indeed, it should involve the entire institution as well. It will be more effective if it has a participatory nature, wherein all are working towards the quality assurance and sustenance participation in monitoring on the entire system. And the last one, we are going to discuss about the outcome-based education. Maybe tomorrow's speaker also will talk about the outcome-based education, right? So here I will give you a few points regarding the outcome-based education. So based on these 5 points, so what are the metrics involved in the NAAC? We will discuss after this slide. The outcome-based education has proven to be a success in helping institutions measuring their learning outcome and at the same time enabling students to develop new skills and to prepare them to stand out with their global counterpart. So here, we are going to discuss about the traditional as well as the modern education. In the case of the traditional education, it is to pass on the knowledge of the previous generation to the upcoming generation of students. But in the case of outcome-based education, it provides expanded opportunity for the students by following a student-centered learning approach. Earlier approach is faculty-centered approach, but now we are changing to the student-centered learning approach. Unlike the traditional system, the outcome-based education does not provide grades to students ranking from best to worst. In the classroom, one person got 0 mark, but other person got the 100 marks. But in the case of outcome-based education, they does not provide grades to students from the best to worst. The traditional model of education does not permit institution to identify which factors play the role of catalyst to end the student's environment. But in the case of outcome-based education, each and every student progress can be tracked based on their performance and differential growth at various stages or levels. If the student is lacking in communication or knowledge level, that should be tracked very easily in outcome-based education. It can help the teachers to design curriculum and keep a tab on the students' growth and every stage. So with this, the 5 points, how we are implemented in the NAAC matrix. So I'm sharing the screen, next screen. So the based on the 5 points here, because already we discussed a lot about uh, regarding points regarding the NAAC. I directly go to the grades and accreditation status. If the institution got 3.124, the status is accredited with the grade A++. If the institution is having 3.26 to 3.5, that one is A+, that is also accredited. If the institution is getting the 3.01 to 3.25, the grade is A, and so on. So here, the assessment process, already many of you know, 7 criteria. NAAC college is belonging to the PG college. So 7 criteria, 32 key indicators, qualitative metrics, the quantitative metrics. In total, the total metrics is 96. I'm going to discuss only the important metrics related to the 5 points already I have discussed, not the entire one. So in the case of the curricular aspect, so directly I'm going to the, I'm discussing only the quantitative metrics, not the qualitative metrics. These metrics are related to only the 5 points I have discussed. See the 5 points, what are the 5 points I have discussed? Number 1, that is called the teaching, then learning, the research activity, and the fourth one, the monitoring mechanism, and the last one, that is called outcome-based education. So how these 5 points they reflect in the NAAC metrics. The teachers of the institution participate in the following activity related to curriculum development and assessment of the affiliating university are represented on the following academic body during the last 5 years. You have to give some details. How many faculty are involved in academic council or board of studies of affiliating university? How many faculty are setting question paper for UG or PG programs? Whether they involved in design and development of curriculum or add-on courses or certificate courses or diploma courses? Or they involved in assessment, evaluation process or affiliating university? You should collect all the document from the faculty and that should be put it in the Excel sheet. Right? For this, the weightage is 5. If any institution appoint a qualified faculty or quality related faculty, automatically the faculty will involve all this activity. For example, if the institution developed a curriculum for add-on courses or certificate courses, so what is the difference between the add-on courses and certificate courses? For example, certificate course in photography, like that, or let's say certificate course in digital photography, or like that. If a computer science student is learning some curriculum from the university, in addition to the regular curriculum, if he or she studied about the Python, this is the add-on courses. So the thing is, the add-on course or certificate course should be at least a minimum of 30 hours. For this, if the faculty is involved, suppose if we introduce a course in a college, first of all, the faculty frame the curriculum, right? They should get the approval from the board of studies, followed by academic council, and the final apex body is governing board. So this is the case of the autonomous college. But in the case of affiliated college, there is no setup for BOS or academic council. But you are having a governing council, right? If a group of faculty or any department framed add-on courses or certificate courses, you should get approval from your governing council. That is very, very important. I also mentioned another point. If the faculty is involved in assessment and evaluation process of the affiliating university, that record should be maintained, that should be included in this metric. For example, you have to prepare a 5-year data sheet. Suppose if you go for the next year assessment, the thing is you can start from 2015-16, then 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, and 19. So you have to collect all the information regarding the curriculum development and assessment of the affiliating university, the involvement of the teaching faculty. Then, how much percentage of program in which choice-based credit system or elective course system has been implemented? Here, we purely depend on the university alone. Maybe if you get a copy from the university, how many programs are adapting choice-based credit system, and how many programs are adapting elective course system. So what are the documents needed? The university notification, circular, the orders, or the syllabus code. You should put it in the Excel sheet, and you can put the hyperlink also. The problem is the data storage in the NAAC portal for each metric is only 5 MB. Suppose if you are having 15 programs or 20 programs, definitely you will upload all the syllabus of the respective program in the NAAC portal is not possible, right? So you have to make your website dynamic. You should display the curriculum for all the program in the website. That should be hyperlinked in the NAAC website. Then the third one, that is 1.2.2, the weightage is 10. How many add-on program or certificate programs offered during the last 5 years? The thing is, apart from the regular curriculum, the NAAC is focused on the add-on courses and certificate program. The thing is, it should be more than 30 hours. That's very important. For example, if you introduce a certificate course in hardware and networking, how many times you are offering to the same year? How many students they have completed the course in the year? For this, what are the documents needed? The number one, certified syllabus. Already I have mentioned that should get approval from your governing council. Then students' notice, then brochures, attendance of the program, then certificate issued to the students, then reports, then photograph, and the last one is feedback. So if you organize all this document in the NAAC portal, definitely you will get a good weightage in 1.2.2. The other thing is, how many percentage or students enrolled in the certificate courses with the last 5 years? So here they will give you a data sheet. So just so you can fill the data sheet, that should be uploaded in the NAAC website. Then, because I had discussed about the experiential learning, right? So how many courses that include experiential learning through project work, the field work, internship year-wise during the last 5 years? For example, if you are conducting a practical related courses in your program, that should be included. Then, if you are having a project work or field work or internship in your curriculum, that also should be included. Then, the documents needed are So what are the courses name? For example, in the case of the practical, just mention the practical name. Then letters, if any students went for internship, any students went for the internship, automatically you get the letter from the students. Then certificates, if you are having MOU with MOU with the nearby industry, so that is also included in the is in this criteria 1.3.2. Then, how many percent of students undertaking project work, the field work, internship? So data for the latest completed academic year. Already I mentioned, if you go for the NAAC accreditation in the next year, automatically you have to upload this year with the document. There's a percentage. Excuse me. So the number of students undertaking project work, field work, internships, then you have to split the document into program wise, department wise, and with a complete breakup. So what are the documents needed? Communication, project reports, certificate, invitation letters, photographs, appreciation letter, and employer feedback. So these are the documents needed. The next one is that is called the feedback system. Since we get the curriculum or the syllabus from the university, usually in most of the institution do not have a proper feedback mechanism. You should develop a feedback or especially on the syllabus for all the program from the different stakeholders, the students, the teachers, employers, and from the alumni. Suppose if you are not having the mechanism, definitely you create the mechanism in your higher education institution. That is very, very important. So here, so what is the mechanism you are following? In the case of the affiliated colleges, the mechanism is not clearly following. The thing is, excuse me, in the case of the affiliated colleges, the mechanism is not clearly followed. So you have to get the feedback from the students, from the teachers, the employers, and alumni. Then, what is the process? The first thing is very clear: feedback not collected. You will get a weightage of only 0. If you are collecting the feedback, then you have to analyze. Then feedback collected, analyzed, and action has been taken. Feedback collected, analyzed, action taken, and feedback available on the website. If any higher education institution follow this, the fifth one, definitely they can get a weightage of the 10. The thing is, after the collecting the feedback, you should notify to the university authority by means of a letter. That is enough for getting the mark. In the case of the criteria 2, if the higher education institution admitted the students, the number of students admitted year-wise during the last 5 years, number of sanctioned seat year-wise during the last 5 years. If there is a discrepancy, automatically you will get a less weightage in this metric. What is the demand ratio? If the sanction strength is 64 or 48, if you're admitting only the 24 students, so 24 by 48, the demand ratio, see here, 24 by 48, only the 50% of seats are filled. For a particular seat, how much applications we have received, that is also mentioned here. Here, the number of applications received to number of available seats. In some of the prestigious college, they are getting lot of application for the number of available seats. Automatically, they will get a good weightage in this metric. So here, there should not be mismatch in figures provided in AISH or JD office communication letter or university or SSR or AQAR. Then whether the self-financing institution follow this benchmark, I don't know exactly. How many seats are filled, especially for SC student, ST student, OBC, or Divyangjan, as per the reservation policy. Data requirement for the last 5 years. The number of students admitted in the reserve category. So here you have to strictly follow the government policy, the Tamil Nadu government policy. Suppose if we are giving admission for the SC student or ST student, yeah, that should be, we should get the document from the respective student. Then student full-time teacher ratio. So here, what is the definition for the full-time teacher? Maybe you notice in the glossary of the NAAC, the manual for affiliated colleges. The full-time teachers are engaging more than 90% of the workload. Right? So as per UGC or AICT, for professional program, the ratio is 1:10. For traditional program, the ratio is 1:10. Suppose in your institution, you are having 3,600 students. So how many faculties are required? You just divide by 20. So the faculty is around 180 faculty. If you are having less than 180 faculty, there is no problem because the as per AICT and UGC rule, there is a for the traditional program is 1:30. The thing is, the ratio should not more than 40:1. This is student full-time ratio, 40:1. So that is very important. Almost the colleges in MS University follow this guideline. Then the ratio of mentor to students for academic and other related issues. So number of mentors, number of students assigned to each mentor. The mentor is dealing with only academic and stress related issues. Other stress related issues. The tutor what mentor-mentee committee, right? Mentor-mentee committee. Then you have to upload the mentor-mentee interaction booklet. Upload year-wise list of students, the full-time teachers, the mentor-mentee ratio. If in your institution, if you are having authorized counselor, then use that. Then teachers profile, because already I have discussed about the teaching profile. In earlier days, for a college or university, the qualification is NET or SET or a PhD. Even though it is followed now also, but the thing is, according to NAAC or NARF, those faculty having PhD is very important. So in almost all the institutions, they are following this thing. Then list of full-time teachers of last 5 years with all details. You have to get the appointment letter provided by the institution. That should be scanned. Suppose if there is a management post sanction letter or JD office post sanction letter, you should take a scanned copy and upload it in this profile, in this metric. Then here the weightage is 20. Average percentage of full-time teachers with PhD or DM or MCH or DNB. In the case of aided arts and science colleges, where the highest qualification is PhD. The number of full-time teachers already mentioned the external profile. In data tablet, 1% is to be counted once only. Scanned copies of PhD and other certificates that should be uploaded in the portal. I want to mention here, the academic richness of faculty is an important attribute for any institution. Then, average teaching experience for full-time teachers in the same institution. The thing is, if you started a college before 10 years, maybe in the year 2010, now the year is 2020. So, what is the average teaching experience? Some faculty, especially in the self-financing colleges, if they get a good job, definitely they will move to the other colleges. Right? So, the average teaching experience is between 5 to 10. For well-established college, that ratio should be 15 to 25. For this metric, the weightage is 20. So here in the DVV, that is data validation and verification process. They will ask some teachers. They will ask some of the teachers. They ask some of the teachers, "Final order copy. You should be ready for that one." Then average percentage of students during the last 5 years. So this is also another metric. If you are having good pass percentage, automatically you will get good weightage in this metric. Then another important aspect that is called student satisfaction survey. This is a very key important aspect. Even some prestigious college, they got good score in the NAAC. They failed miserably in this aspect that is called student satisfaction survey. The higher education institution should motivate towards roll number or mobile number, email ID, then degree program. That data sheet should be sent to the NAAC. They will they will send the questionnaire to the students. They will get this survey from the students. For example, already in most of the institution, you are having mentor. Definitely, you are already some mentee also. For each mentor, 20 to 30 mentees or 40 mentees. The mentor should collect all this information. Right? They should educate the student. The NAAC office will send mail to you just to open the mail and give your feedback. That is the survey. Right? If the percentage is less than 20 percentage, automatically you will get less weightage in this metric. So the very important thing is the mentee or the class teacher or the HOD should take initiative for student satisfaction survey. Then regarding the research, since in most of the self-financing institution, the problem is the grant received from government and non-governmental agency for research projects, endowments in the institution last 5 years. You can attach the proposal, sanction letter, progress report, utilization certificate, and the publication, etc. So these are the required documents. Even now, the TNACST is allowing the students to do projects. That also has been mentioned here. Definitely, the management should encourage the faculty to apply for the research project. Then, in the case of 3.1.2, the percentage of teachers having research project funded by government and non-government agency will last 5 years. So, for this, 5 metrics, for this 5 weightage. Then, the percentage of teachers recognized as a research guide. For example, in your institution, 100 faculties are there. Out of 100 faculty, 80 faculty are PhD. Out of 80 faculty, how many are research guide? That is very important. So, out of 80 faculty, if only 10 faculty are research guide, that will reflect in this score. So, definitely you won't get good score in this metric. Out of 80 faculty, if faculty is more than 50 percentage or research guide, then only you will get good weightage in this metric. Then, the another important one is the faculty should attend the seminars, conferences, workshop. Also, the institution will conduct the seminars, conferences, workshop will be last 5 years. Nowadays, in most of the institution, we are conducting webinar. Right? Till now, we are not getting any clarified one from the NAAC or UGC whether we can include this webinar in our for based on the UGC guideline or NAAC guideline, because even the NAAC is also conducting webinar, right? Definitely we can include the number of seminars, conferences, workshops conducted by the institution to the last phase. During the COVID-19 period, almost all the institution, in especially in Tamil Nadu, are conducting webinar daily, right? Then that should be photographed. If you are conducting webinar, definitely you can get a recording. You can take a snapshot of the speaker as well as the participant. How many participants are participating and how many participants are viewing in the via YouTube is very simple. Right? So based on that, you can fill the data also. Then the research publication. Already I mentioned that if what is the benchmark of the quality? The teaching faculty, right? The teaching faculty published at least a minimum of one paper, right? One paper, not in the ordinary journal. That should be in the Scopus or SEI or UGC CAT journal, right? So that should be included. If you are having 60 faculty, right? So 60 faculty, if they for the last 5 years, if the publication is only 60, means 60 by 60, 1 by 5, that is very important, right? So for the 5 years only, you are contributing only 60 papers. If the number is 1, then it is well and good for getting a good score in this matter. The thing is, the link of research paper published in the UGC approved journal should be notified in your website, right? Already I have mentioned that for each metric, the maximum storage limit is only 5 MB in the NAAC portal. Suppose in your institution, if you are having more than 300 publications, so just to mention a hyperlink in your website, that Excel sheet should be uploaded in the NAAC portal. Then, whether the institution has created an ecosystem for innovation and initiative for creating transfer knowledge, especially for the PG college, this is applicable. First of all, you have to appoint a qualified faculty. Then the faculty should be a research guide. Then the faculty should publish paper every year, periodically. Then after that only you can concentrate on the innovation and what are the initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge. So to strengthen incubation center, you can apply for various funding agency for establish infrastructural research facility. Then the case of 3.2.2, the faculties published in how many books and chapters in digital volumes published by the faculty. Also paper published in national international conference proceeding per teacher in the last 5 years. Here the document needed are just to scan the copy of the research paper published in conference proceeding along with the cover page published by the faculty and your page, your publication page. The front page of the proceeding as well as the publication by the faculty in the proceeding. So that is enough. So here also I want to mention only 5 MB is allowed, right? So your website should contain all these things. You cannot upload the things in your Drive, Google Drive or OneDrive. The NAAC won't accept that. Either in the authorized website of the institution, that is very bad, or the NAAC portal. Then the number of workshops, seminars conducted on research methodology, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship. Day before yesterday also we conducted an IPR written program for the research scholar as well as the faculty. Likewise, for the past 5 years, how many programs conducted on research methodology, IPR, on entrepreneurship? This is the right time. Even you can conduct a webinar on research methodology or IPR on entrepreneurship. So that should be included in 3.2.2. The supporting document already I have mentioned, right? The number of PhD registered as per eligible teacher during the last 5 years. The criteria is very simple one: qualified faculty, research guide, good publication, then innovation. If they are PhD research guide, how many PhDs or how many scholars registered for eligibility during the last 5 years? Suppose if we are not having a research center, just apply for a research center that will give a good weightage in 3.3.1. Then apart from that, the collaboration. So already Annai Hajira College and Sadhguru College have a collaboration MOU regarding especially on the Paramas scheme. Likewise, you can go for a collaboration and linkage for faculty exchange, student exchange, internship, field trip, on-the-job training, research, etc. For example, if any faculty from Annai Hajira College and faculty from Sadhguru College jointly publish a paper, so this is the collaboration regarding the research. So we should include in this category. Likewise, you can collaborate with either university or a very high institution. But the thing is, MOU is a proper document, right? The linkage is not a proper document. It's a type of letter saying that myself and this institution are collaborating. That's all. Then already I have mentioned that it's called MOU. Because in most of the institutions, they are putting the MOU, but they never touch the MOU. I am very happy to share with that Annai Hajira College is doing a wonderful job, especially in this MOU, right? In this MOU, we can do wonders, right? Then, the case of the four, already I got to come to the point. But regarding the LMS, the Learning Management System, if the college is having only LCD project, only one LCD project there out of 25 classrooms, automatically you will get less weightage in matrix. So the percentage of classroom and seminar hall with ICT enabled facilities such as smart class, LMS, etc. So I want to mention LMS, Learning Management System. Either you can develop on your own with the help of Moodle, right? Or you can get a software from the agency, right? From any company. What is LMS? This Learning Management System, right? Maybe after COVID, during the reopening of the college, the government has supposed to tell only we can allow only half of the students in the classroom. The half of the students will learn from the home itself. The problem is, a lot of problems are there. I'm not going to touch about the problems. The thing is, if in a classroom 64 students are there, 32 students will come to the college, and 32 students will attend the class in their home. Without LOS, we cannot do anything about it. So definitely, all the classrooms should be provided with LCD facilities. Then, in the case of NAAC, they are asking geotag photograph of such facilities. How to take the geotag photos? Very simple one. Take your mobile phone, right? Switch on the location. If you take the photo, that is called geotagged photograph. That should be provided in the link, right? So that is a very simple one. The college, all the higher education institution will concentrate on ICT enabled facility. Nowadays, for getting a projector, we have to spend a minimum of 35,000, right, for a projector. For installing the LCD projector for 50 classroom, think about the money, right? It's a huge investment. But the thing is, nowadays, a cheap LCD projector is also available, right? There is a mobile LCD projector is also available. In some colleges, they are providing with a mobile LCD projector. Definitely will get good marks in 4.1.3. But the thing is, the teacher should operate the LCD projector. I'm very sorry to say that many faculties are not trained properly, right? Already mentioned, training is very important. Train properly. Suppose if you are having training in how to operate the Zoom app or Google Meet, or because in many here the participants are very less, because when we organize one of the seminar, One of the webinar, more than 450 participants are enrolled or registered or participated in the webinar. They are doing they are doing some annotation in the screen also. That's the biggest problem. They know how to see how to listen the webinar. They don't know exactly. That is the biggest problem we are facing now. Then another important aspect is library. If you appoint a qualified faculty, definitely they are expecting a well-established library. Without a well-established library, the staff member won't get anything at all. At present, the NAAC insists on the following e-resources, e-journals, e-South Sindhu, South Ganga, membership, e-books databases, remote access to e-resources. If the institution is having all these, definitely they will get a good weightage 6 for this metric 4.2.2. Then how much amount they are spending for purchase of books or e-books or example in the last 5 years. You have to give the library committee report, purchase order, bills, audited statement with the library budget gate. That is very, very important. Suppose if you purchase the e-book, then only you have to mention in this criteria, in this metric 4.2.3. But in the case of a lot of e-books are available, can be improved. It is not. If you purchase on your own only, then you can mention the e-books in this metric 4.2.3. Then another important aspect is because of the workload of the faculty, the faculty won't visit the library. They're asking how many percentage of students or teachers visiting the library daily. They're asking the login data for online access. In some of the colleges, the faculties and students are visiting the library regularly. Definitely, they will get good weightage, especially 5 in this metric. Then another aspect already mentioned, we have seen student-teacher ratio. So what is the maximum? 1:30. But in the case of the student computer, nowadays, earlier it was 1:30 ratio. Now it is changed to 1:20 ratio. If 3,000 students or 3,600 students are there, definitely we need 180 computer. The 180 computer, especially for students. Don't count the computers used by staff and administrative staff or in any office, especially in college office or controller of examination office or any other office. That should not be included in this category. If the ratio is 1:20, then well and good, right? So they are asking the purchase order, purchase bill, because in one of the college they showed the laptop provided by the student. They all mentioned, but that is not good. How to mention the orders, purchase bill, details can be uploaded as a supporting documents. Then bandwidth of internet connection in the institution. Nowadays, especially for webinar, if you want to attend, if you attend the webinar without without any problem, your bandwidth of interconnection will be very, very good. We cannot go for 50 Mbps. We should go for only 10 to 5 Mbps. That is good, right? If the least line, that's very important. They should not count the wireless broadband connection. You have to show the monthly annual report. Sometimes if we are having optional metrics, definitely in some college they operate for this also. Then in the case of the fifth one, I'm concentrating only on few points alone. Soft skills, language and communication skill, life skills, ICT, computing skills. Whether any initiative taken by the institution, so what are the beneficiary, or what are the beneficiary students, you have to give the proper documents, then reports, then feedback, then geotagged photographs. That's very important. And nowadays, the government is concentrating on yoga aspect, right? So you can see the yoga also. Then how many percent of students benefited by the guidance from competitive examination and career counseling by the institution during the last 5 years? So what are the schemes? So what are the students passing the competitive examination? So how many students are placed? That should be shown in the Excel sheet. The thing is, you have to give the proper evidence, otherwise you won't get the good weightage for this one. Then recently the NAAC introduced this mechanism. In the institution has a transparent mechanism for timely redressal of student grievance, including sex and rights. Whether any implementation guideline or statutory regulatory bodies, organization-wide range awareness and attending policies with zero tolerance, mechanisms for submission of offline and online student grievances, timely redressal of the grievances through appropriate committee. In most of the institutions, they are not having any committee regarding especially for the redressal of student grievances. They are having a lot of committee, but this committee is not vibrant, right? The thing is, committee should be vibrant. You have to record the minutes of the meeting, then that should be displayed in your website. So that is very, very important one. Then average percentage of placement of outgoing students in the last 5 years. How many students went for placement either on campus or off campus? If it is off campus, automatically that should be properly sent by the placement office, right? So you have to give the documents like appointment order, salary certificate. Also, we get the employer feedback. Right? Then, how many percent of students progressing to higher education during last 5 years? UG to PG, or PG to MPhil, PG to PhD, MPhil to PhD, or PhD to postdoctoral. So you have to give the list of department-wise, program-wise. Suppose if any student went for UG to PG, you give the documents like admission letter or ID card from the other institution, right? If you are having a PG program in your college, some of the students from the same institution will come for the PG student. That is also allowed here. There, how many students qualified in state, national, international examination? So that should be mentioned in 5.2.3. The metric is 5.2.3. Then the weightage is 5. Here, JAM, NET examination, SILT exam, GATE examination, GMAT, CAT, GRE, TOEFL, civil services. For this, the informations are very, very little in most of the higher education institutions because in Tirunelveli Valley or Palangotai, very few students pass the GATE examination or NET examination. But the thing is, many students appear for NPTEL, right? You can give the information to those students who pass NPTEL examination. That's a national level examination. That should be included here also. Maybe in the NAAC is also considering this, the students who pass NPTEL examination. Then how much amount of the contribution by alumni during the last 5 years? That should be having a recorded one. That the alumni association should be registered. Then regarding the governance, we focused on administration, finance and accounts, student admission, support and examination. Here I will give you importance of the e-governance, because if you in your institution, if you are having e-governance, then only you will get good weightage. Almost most of the colleges are doing admission, online admission. Finance and accounts also made in online. The student admission support, then examination. Almost most of the colleges are doing well. So you need the provided documents are ERP document, the screenshot of each aspect, user report, and contract document. Regarding the online, one is called LMS, then EMS. This is examination management support. This is the another important aspect in e-governance. If you are having a qualified faculty or some faculties are lacking in the, especially in degree, PhD degree, you should give financial support to attend conferences, workshop, and towards the membership fee or professional body last 5 years. Because in the early cases, the NAAC given option, even on duty, right? Also accepted, but this time they have changed the financial support in terms of the fees, how much you are giving for the faculty for attending the conferences, workshop, and other aspect. Then, how many programs are conducted for the teaching and non-teaching staff, especially for their professional development and administrative training program? Suppose if any new faculty is recruited in this year, automatically you have to give some faculty development program for the newly recruited faculty. How to behave in the college, how to talk to the higher authorities, how to talk to the management. Likewise, what is the ethics, then what is the code of conduct you have to discuss with the newly recruited faculty. That should be recorded. That's the professional development program. Then, especially for the non-teaching staff, one, if you are changing the non-teaching staff from one place to other place, you have give a proper training for the non-teaching staff. That should be recorded, and that should be having a communication, brochures, notices, then list of participant reports like that. Then this is another important aspect regarding the faculty. How much percentage of faculty undergoing online face-to-face faculty development during the last 5 years? Here I want to mention faculty development program is a minimum of 1 week. If any faculty has attended a program of 1 week program, that should be considered. The online program also says same rule only. So that should be included in this metric 6.3.4. Likewise, orientation program or induction program, refresher courses, short-term courses, etc. You have to give the documents like the selection letter, completion certificate, and online course certificate. Then how many the funds, how much amount of funds grant received from non-government bodies, individuals, philanthropists during the last year, that should be included in 6.4. So another instrument that is called monitoring mechanism, that is called IQAC. A regular meeting of IQAC, feedback collected and analyzed used for improvements. Every year the IQAC should supposed to collect the feedback of the institution, right? Especially the teaching faculty, then administrative staff, then canteen, the student support and services. So from the collected information, they can present the report to the IQC steering committee meeting or the college council or the governing board or governing council. So that should be the feedback collected. Then collaborative initiatives with other institutions. Very recently, we have collaborated with the nearby institution. That is also very essential one. Then participation in NAAC. Every year we are participating in NAAC. Then what are the other quality audits? Likewise, ISO, we are having ISO. So likewise, these are the quality assurance initiative of the institution, right? Then regarding the seventh one, the last thing, I'm going to discuss about the code of conduct. Code of conduct for the students, teachers, administrators, and other staff, and conduct periodic program district. So what are the rules and regulations for the student? That should be displayed on the website also. There is a committee to monitor adherence to code of conduct. If you are having a strict rule on dress code or other aspect, especially to student, that should be monitored by a committee. Then the institution organizes professional ethics program for students, teachers, administration, other staffs. The ethics is very, very important because research ethics, plagiarism is so you should teach how to follow the ethics. Then annual awareness program on code of conduct are organized. The documents included are geotagged photographs, scanned documents, and you should give the web link of each aspect is must. Okay. So with this slide, I conclude my session. Once again, I thank the organizer for giving an opportunity to talk about the various metrics of the NAAC. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
So just one question. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, one question.
Okay.
So in this time of pandemic, when we talk about the online management system, what can we do with the practical session for the students in case of science papers?
Because at present there is no standard operational procedure released by UGC or ASAT or NAAC for the online mode of teaching, right? There is no standard operational procedure because maybe we can expecting the standard operational procedure within 1 month or 2 months only, right? Especially regarding practical,
Okay.
because the practicals include the chemistry, physics, or the biology. They will face some problems, right? If you are because if I teach how to do swimming in online class means if you are not practicing in the water, we cannot get the how to learn the swimming. That is a problem here, especially for practical. The students will come to the institution, right? So for that, the UGC and AICT is working for preparing the standard operation procedure.
And one more question again. So now, if we are going to conduct the classes in two batches, say only half of the students will be coming to the class, and the other half for whom we will have to use the smart classrooms to provide them with the notes and everything. So how will they be the class interactive for them?
because of the COVID-19, the government is supposed to instruct, right?
Yeah.
Only half the percentage of students will come to the college, and the half the number of students will attend the class in their home, right? The thing is, they will put a shift system like that, because in the school it is right, but in the case of the colleges, especially the good infrastructure means we can conduct the classes in the institution itself. But the thing is, we are not having a sufficient number of classroom, so automatically we go for this system only. But the thing is, for example, in most of the colleges are having uh, 1 week pattern, right? For example, first day order, second day order, and second third day order, like that. So uh, first day order, or first day to say sixth day order, one batch of students will come, and second day to second day to third day order, one batch of students will come, and third day to fourth day order, one batch of students will come. So automatically the infrastructure will be increased, and
There is one more question by a participant. How do you differentiate the qualitative and quantitative metrics?
Sir is
Sir, there is a question by the
unmuted.
there is a question by the participant. How do you differentiate between the quantitative and the
okay,
qualitative
sir.
metrics?
Madam, will you please repeat the question?
How do you differentiate between the quantitative and the qualitative metrics? It's by a participant question.
So regarding the quantitative metrics,
Yeah,
it is in the form of, yeah, it is in the form of the table, right? So all the data or whatever it may be, it should be in the numbers, right? Then in the case of qualitative metrics, that should be during the peer team visit only, they can go for the qualitative metrics for verification. Suppose if you are having a system, for example, one of the question, whether the PO or CEO or PSO has been reflected in the institution. So you are writing many points for that qualitative metrics. So during the peer team visit, they will verify the documents. That is very, very important. For example, if you are mentioning that, because regarding the university pattern, because we purely depend on the university pattern, right? Especially for the examination. Suppose if you are saying that uh, our the students are able to do having good communication skill or language skill or like that, something like that, you want to put it with the form of a chart. But the thing is, they won't accept that, because based on the fact only, you have to write uh, the points regarding the qualitative metrics. That is very important. Qualitative metrics is purely based on the fact, and I'm mentioning once again, that is based on the fact. Without fact, don't writing anything in the qualitative metrics.
Sir, there is one more question from the audience side. Distance education students, how to improve research? Please give valuable idea.
Madam, please.
Uh,
It's not able
distance,
to say.
sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, tell me, madam.
Distance education students, how to improve research? Please give valuable idea.
For distance education students,
How to
it is
improve research?
how to, okay. The UG degree or B degree in the distance education more. Because my suggestion is always, you can take the distance education motion, especially from the IGNO, right? That is one of the best one. They are dealing with distance education more. Suppose if you are having the other university also, because now the UGC has regulated all the things, right? Especially for conducting distance education more. Because you may aware that in last 20 years back or last 15 years back, many faculty got, especially many people got their degrees from the one of the university in Tamil Nadu, right? They get the degree without attending any classes, right? They get the degree. Now the UG has recognized all the things, right? For if any university or colleges want to conduct the distance education more, the NAAC score should be more than 3.25. Otherwise, they won't. They are not eligible to conduct the distance education. If the NAAC score is more than 3.25, definitely the institution is good in the teaching, learning, and process, the evaluation process. So those who have completed a UG or PG degree from that type of university, you can go for a PhD, especially from IGNO, right? That is my suggestion.
There are a lot of acclaims, compliments from audience side, sir. It's a fabulous presentation. Thank you, sir. One more question. Is student dropped out affect the student's admission ratio? Any
The
student
student
dropped out in between? If any student dropped out in between, will affect the student's admission ratio?
drop out.
Dropped out is.
Yeah, because as per our the guideline of the Tamil Nadu or university, the 1st October is the deadline, right? So before 30th September, all the students will get admission in UG or PG program. That is the deadline followed by our university or usually in the government of Tamil Nadu. The thing is, they're asking for admitted strength only, right? After admitted strength, if the student left the college, that won't affect the thing. That won't affect the designing metrics. But in earlier cases, the dropout plays a vital role in NAAC aspect. Nowadays, they can change the pattern, right? So that they have revised every year, right? In earlier cases, the demand ratio plays a vital role. Dropout also plays a vital role. But this time, dropout won't affect the any metrics.
Sir, one more question. Can you explain about green environment from the last criteria of NAAC?
Green audit, right?
Yeah.
Because almost that is new for all the higher education institutions, right? Because I'm not touching that aspect, the green audit or energy audit or the normal audit like that. But if you look after the metrics in the NAC, in most of the time they focus on environmental sustainability, right? Environmental sustainability. Suppose if you search, you just type a green audit, a lot of companies are there, but the thing is that is so expensive. That is very important. In earlier cases, they will do, like the, for example, Department of Botany or Zoology will do the green audit in the campus, how many trees are there, and then is there any landscape or like that. But now it is not like that. You have to especially get the advice from the company only for doing the green audit as well as the energy audit.
Hello. Morning to all. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who work really hard to make this webinar on quality assurance in higher education happen. First of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. With His blessings and grace, we are able to make this webinar what it was. Next, I extend a really hearty thanks to our chief guest and resource person, Dr. Syed Mohammed, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Chemistry, IQAC Coordinator, Sadaqatullah Apokale Tirunelveli, who spared his valuable time from their busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear his thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. His speech and thoughts have enlightened our minds, have shown us a new path. Benefits of accreditation and the systematic process to sustain qualities of how benchmarking should be integrated into the fundamental operation of all the institution of how to sustain quality in all the 7 criteria. Thank you, sir. My special gratitude goes to our management and our President Haji Engineer S.K. Syed Ahmed and our Secretary Haji Engineer S.K. Huzza Muhammad and our Treasurer OK Jafar Sadiq sir for their efforts towards anchoring of today. Their ideas and elegance of everything, I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Rajab Fatima, for her enormous cooperation. With a deep sense of appreciation, I thank IKAC Assistant Coordinator of Dr. Anuradha and organizing committee members, Mrs. Sanita, Sridevi, Dr. Jayasree, Mrs. Ratnamaladi, Mrs. Aisha Nilofar, Mrs. Parvati, Dr. S. Uma, and Mrs. Subhashini for their untiring efforts. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by the team of very proactive and dedicated staff of our institution who are well versed in their job. Finally, I would like to thank our technicians, assistant professors Mrs. Booma and Mrs. Mumtaj, and non-teaching staff for their support to achieve excellence. Your days of hard work were evident in your acts. Last but not least, a big thank to each one of you who made this webinar memorable for all of us. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, one more question from audience side. Can I ask you? Sir?
Okay, madam.
From Jisha Nair, she asked which all the activities can be included in the extension activity under NAAC. What are the activities included in the extension activity?
What are the?
What activities should be included in extension activity under NAAC? She's asking.
Yes, here the audio is breaking. That's why you just or you do one thing. You just put the question in the chat box. I can easily. I don't need to put it in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So regarding the extension activity, right? The first one that is called the NSS, then NCC, then ORC, RRC. If the college has own community services, especially outreach program, then the activities are very, very important, right? For example, during the COVID-19, if the NSS or the college outreach program committee organizes how to prevent from the COVID-19, what are the steps to avoid COVID-19, if they distributed your pamphlet or something like that should be included in the especially in the extension activity. Regarding the anti-plastic or the blood donation camp or the anti-cancer, all type of activities that should be included in the extension activity. But the thing is, in the case of the first one, there may be 3.5.1 like that. For that, you should include only the college developed outreach program activity. In the next metric, the activities through NSS, NCC, or ORC, RRC that should be included. Even some of the colleges adopted villages, right? For villages, they organize some programs like how to prepare the vermicompost or that type of activity that should be included in the activities of the extension.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sparing your precious time with us in giving us about the new norms and all the procedures that we have to follow in NAAC.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Madam, shall I leave the meeting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can.